Welcome to Showboys, a podcast that delves into the world of film and TV. Hosts Nick and Mike take their water cooler talk from the office to the web as they discuss their favorite movies, shows, and all their content in between. In this week's episode, the boys discuss their favorite internet dad, what they are currently watching, and their ever-expanding backlog. So, what's watching? Hello and welcome to another episode of Showboys. I'm your host Mike, as always, joined by my good friend Nick. And
howdy doodle.
Yeah, here we are, another episode. How you doing tonight, Nick?
Doing pretty good. I'm trying to think if this is 9 or 10. It's 9, isn't it?
I want to say 9. Yeah.
Okay.
Haven't hit the double-digit mark yet, but we're getting close.
This is the last single digit.
That's right. Feels like, your 29th birthday, right before you turn 30. It's like, well, we made it to 10. We made it to 10 episodes next week.
Yeah, cruising right along. How are you?
Okay. It's a pretty laid-back day, I guess. Just excited to hop on here and record another episode, chat about what we've been watching lately. But before we do that, we wanted to just say thank you for helping us hit the 100 likes and follower mark on our Facebook page. I don't know the exact number, but we're finally made it over the hump, and we just wanted to thank you guys. It means a lot that you would want to follow us. So thank you. If you already follow us, you know that we make posts about our new releases coming out, kind of tease what our episodes are going to be about. But we also want to use our Facebook page and Instagram and Twitter for just some general discourse with you guys. So if you have any shows or movies or video games or any, kind of content that you'd like to hear us talk about, or just suggestions of things that you think we should watch or things that you think are terrible that we should not watch or whatever, just feel free to leave a comment, shoot us a message. We even have an email, showboyspodcast@gmail.com. So we'd love to talk and interact with you guys. So don't be afraid. And just wanted to also throw our YouTube page out there. If you search us on YouTube, Showboys Podcast, you should be able to find us. And if you like what we're doing, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. It's free and it really helps us out. And you'll be notified and alerted whenever we post anything new. So it kind of saves you a step there. But yeah, I don't know. I think, Nick, you have a little news too about something that might be coming up.
Yeah, I figure we just tease the one thing we have, hard on paper that's gonna be coming up. But I would like to note that I think we're kind of like hanging out just like below 100 likes on Facebook, and then we kind of like blew through it. I think we're at like 120 right now. So
yeah,
that just kind of blew up.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
The old little 100 hump.
Yeah.
So. But yeah,
keep telling your friends if you like what we're doing, share us with your friends.
But so yeah, I mean, October is really good. We actually had, it's a lot of planned content as far as themes go. So I think November here is gonna be a little more laid back as we just kind of mill through toward the end of the year. I think a lot of things will start popping up as we kind of move into that next session of new content that's coming out. But like many of you might know, a show called The Mandalorian Season 2 is coming out on Disney Plus. So we are happy to officially announce that we will be doing a companion series alongside that. So every episode, there's 8 episodes. They release every Friday, starting October 30th, and then shortly thereafter, within I would say 2 to 3 days, or definitely the following week, we will release a companion episode where we will just talk about the episode, cover all the things that companion series try to do. I think we have a couple cool dynamics with Mike and I going into this, so you should definitely tune in. And I'm really excited about that. I'm the Star Wars junkie around here.
Yeah, I'm hoping to be educated as someone who generally knows nothing about Star Wars.
It's
But
good
yeah, I
perspective.
mean, I enjoyed what I saw in season 1, so I think it'll be fun to break down and recap and analyze each new episode in season 2, and we will be releasing that as like a second episode of our week, so we'll still have our normal Monday release of our general Showboys talk, but then we'll also have that Mandalorian season 2 companion series as an additional episode for you guys every week. So I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah, and I'm excited for Nick to teach me in the ways.
No, I'm excited to do that because sometimes it is boring talking with just other Star Wars nerds about Star Wars because we get off on the wrong tangents sometimes. So I think you should help ground the conversation somewhere in reality.
Yeah, either that or you're going to get really annoyed by having to like explain every little thing to me.
That might be that might be part of our audience. They have the
True.
same
Yeah.
questions and the same curiosities, and hopefully I can steer them in a healthy direction without going off the deep end too soon.
Yeah, we'll see.
We will
But
see.
yeah, so that's kind of our little update section. Thanks again, and we hope you tune in to the companion series. We're really excited about it. But yeah, so I mean, like you said, we just wrapped up a month long, um, themed content stuff where we talked about a lot of our favorite horror related things. Halloween just happened, so who doesn't like talking about spooky, scary shows and movies? But yeah, so this week we thought we would just kind of talk about the other stuff we've been watching. Um, Kind of been a while since our first episode of Showboys when we did that. But yeah, man, what have you been watching outside of the things that we've been talking about?
Yeah, so I mean that's always a challenge for me to kind of like bake things into my rotation that aren't currently in my rotation, especially since I just kind of anymore like this year I've really been kind of evenly trying to make progress on things. I usually have about 5 things in the hopper that I rotate depending on the time of the day, right?
Wait,
Depending on
you watch like 5 series at a time?
Yeah, I currently have 5 things. Yeah, 5. Definitely a core like 3 to 4 and then there's like the 2 on the way end.
Wow.
But I mean, I make slow progress on it. But there's a time every part of the day that they kind of fit into. So like I got my lunch hour kind of like just something easy to watch to flip on, or if I'm feeding my son, he's drinking the bottle, I'm sitting there, so I need something to watch that also he can watch too.
Mm,
So then I
it's
have
gonna
my like after 10 o'clock things that I watch.
okay. Yeah, I guess now that I think about it, I kind of do a similar thing, but instead of like your traditional show, um, it like it's YouTube stuff, be it like um,
Yeah, you're
I
deep
don't
on
know,
that.
like the different channels that we talked about in our October run, or just random stuff, or like finding music cool, like live performances or stuff like that. Um, yeah, but I guess typically like actual traditional show. type stuff. I it's really hard for me to watch more than really one, but like max two different things at once. Usually I'll have like what I watch by myself and then whatever Becca and I are watching together, and that's pretty much it. I have to like finish whatever I'm watching, my solo time before I start something new.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll go through my list real quick here, and they definitely have a hierarchy. So, because there's definitely there's usually two that I'm focusing on. Like I want to get those done as soon as I can because I want to fill in those spaces with other things that I need to watch. So, I mean, probably the first one that we're cruising through here, Aaron and I, is The Haunting of Bly Manor. So, the second season of the Haunting of Hill House anthology. I think I'm on episode 6 or 7 of that, so pretty good. Just got to kind of work through it as it kind of, that mid-season. I don't know if it's in a mid-season hump right now or not, but really trying to kind of finish that one out. And then on my solo time, when we're not watching that, maybe she goes to bed or watches like Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I've been watching Hitler's Circle of Evil, also on Netflix, and that's basically just a documentary going over Hitler and really focusing on his cronies, his main homeboys that just led the way in being the psychopaths that they were.
I take it that's like a series?
Yeah, it's a 8 or 10 part series on Netflix.
Oh, wow. That's pretty long.
Yeah, and each episode's like 50 minutes long. But it's good though. I mean, it's a little repetitive. I feel like they made it for TV. It might have been like a History Channel thing, but they repeat things. It's almost like you could watch each episode independently of the entire series. So I think that was okay if from one perspective, but when you're just watching it straight, you hit points where you're like, they've literally said that 3 times now.
Yeah.
So
do you find yourself like on your phone at all? Like while you're watching that?
Yeah, there's definitely been times where I'm definitely doing something else, and that's either in the forefront, but I'm definitely working other things into the time.
Yeah. That like time period though, like World War II, like historic stuff is really fascinating though.
Oh yeah, and it's so crazy because you would think there's only so many things they can make on it, and they definitely do make a lot of stuff, and it does get kind of repetitive sometimes and overlapping, but somehow there's always something new you learn because there was just so much that happened, especially in like World War II. In both the World Wars, there's just so many things.
Well,
you're almost you're stringing together like the events of the entire planet.
right. Yeah, that's the crazy thing is like literally the world was at war. Like that's like in today, like you would never. Well, I mean, I guess people have started kind of, thinking about what that would look like today with, the recent events in the last, handful of years. But like just that concept of like literally so many countries were at war with each other and like I could not imagine living during that time. Like that would have been just absolute insanity.
Yeah, I think this, the simultaneous nature of all these things happening almost on a, in the same event, if you will, is what makes it crazy. I mean, obviously today there are tons of things always happening naturally. But it's a lot easier to break down into like separate series of events because they're a little bit more isolated. Like if you want to talk about, conflicts in the Middle East, while there is just a ton of stuff always happening there, you can pretty focus in on, the series of events for a particular conflict or whatever it might be. Whereas this is like, you got the people in Europe, you got the people in the South Pacific. There's stuff happening in Africa. There's stuff in the North Atlantic. Like, and it was all a part of the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just mind-boggling. I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, and they picked some, parts of it are dramatized too. And they picked some decent actors to portray these people. So like, if anyone knows who like Himmler is, the dude that plays Himmler looks just like him, and it's creepy. He's got the Hitler mustache with the little round glasses, and he's kind of like Poindexter-y. Um, and they use all, and it's also something I don't know that people might not realize is how much actual footage there was, because like these people were recording themselves because they were just top of their game. They thought they were like the king shit. So they were like having little like recording parties where they would just be having tea and like everything's like super nice and these wonderful buildings and
Live streaming a town hall.
yeah, exactly. But the eerie kind of creepy thing about that is they're doing these very lavish things and putting on this big show, but at the same time they are just doing some really evil shit.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, that probably is a really interesting watch. It's unfortunate though that they do like so much repeating of information though. I think it kind of sounds like you could shave off maybe like an episode or two, of the run just based off of the repetition.
Yeah, and it doesn't that style doesn't lend itself either for people who generally are not interested in that topic to get interested in it, because it is kind of boring at times,
Right.
even if when you like it.
It'll take you out of the moment because you're like, I don't need to pay attention. I already heard this like 4 times.
Right, exactly.
That's cool. You got anything else? Or are those like your 2 main squeezes?
Those are the 2 things I'm trying to like knock out so I can replace them with something else. But something that did pop up just like I think this week on Netflix is David Letterman's My Next Guest Needs No Introduction. So there's a new season of that out, and there's 4 episodes, and some really good guests this season. I'll probably watch 3 of the 4 of them. They got Dave Chappelle, Kim Kardashian, Robert Downey Jr., and I think Lizzo is the 4th. But that's a pretty solid lineup, and he's always just a great guy to, especially on that. Yeah, that show in that format, because him, like the one I'm watching right now, Dave Chappelle, they actually film it in Ohio, in Yellow Spring, where Dave Chappelle lives. So they set up this big stage nearby his house.
Chappelle lives in Ohio?
Dude, yeah, he lives
oh, no way.
I think it's like southwestern Ohio, like out by Cincinnati, Dayton kind of area. But yeah, he I mean, basically when he quit the Chappelle show, he moved out here.
That's really super interesting. I
did
not know that.
His grandparents lived there, so he would go there in the summer, and he really just loved it. So, and he has tons of things to say about it. It's really cool how that whole little dynamic works, because everyone knows him, obviously, who he is, but it's also like a very small town. So he said it. He's like, everyone's famous here because everybody knows each other. I get to be just kind of like a regular guy.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but yeah, they're filming it there, and there's people in the lawn watching, and he tells Letterman, he's like, all these people, they see me all the time, like they know who I am. They're here to see you, Dave. Because he's just as big too, and I think it's just a really cool show. And I haven't watched all of them just because not all the guests always interest me, but they're definitely, half of them are definitely worth watching. And there's someone on there that for everyone.
Nice. Yeah, I'll have to check out the Chappelle one. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, you just got to catch all the Chappelle stuff there is.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so I'll probably squeeze that in with those other 2 and like try to knock all those out at the same time.
Well, that's like a good like casual like, you don't have to be invested except for the episode you're watching,
Right. And, they're an hour long, and, sometimes I break that into 4 sessions
Right. It's
because something like
basically
that.
like a Netflix podcast,
Yeah. Yeah. Really is a really good one. Let's see here. And then like a long, you got to have that long play show in there that is like 20 seasons long, 30-minute episodes, but you're just kind of like grinding at it as a filler. And that's
Grey's
Community.
Anatomy. Is that what you're watching?
No, I'm watching Community. Halfway
There's not
through
that many
season 3
seasons.
of Community.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty short. I thought it
6
ended kind of
seasons.
early.
Yeah, it's not 20, but it's 6 seasons, and there's like
Okay.
20 episodes each. So that's usually a pretty big one for me.
Yeah, I've heard good things. One of my friends watched that show pretty faithfully, and he loved it.
Donald Glover and the character Abed in that show
Yeah.
they're just amazing.
Well, like just the clips that I've seen of those two, they're really funny.
Yeah, they're great characters. They're awesome.
There's another show on Netflix, Schitt's Creek, I think is what it's called, that a bunch of people have been, talking about. Like, it's really funny. It's good, great show. We watched the first episode, and I was so annoyed that like I could barely get through the first episode.
So funny you mentioned that. I have a guest plug for that show if we ever get to it to cover it. But Andrew Harris,
Oh yeah,
yeah, he loves that
our
show.
boy Andrew.
Yeah, shout out.
You
He'll
don't
be a
know who I
guest.
am.
He'll be a guest
Okay.
when and if we ever get to that. I think he said
Okay.
he'd guest for that, The Bachelorette, and The
Yeah.
Office.
We talked about just sticking Andrew and my wife on the podcast. They could just talk about The Bachelorette.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
But
man,
he said get through like the first like 3 or 4 episodes, and it starts to click.
it's not so much the story. Because the story is kind of interesting, at least from what I've seen in one episode. Have you seen any of it at all?
When it first came out, like
Okay.
whenever that was, maybe like a year or 2 ago, we watched like the first 2 episodes, and it didn't click.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, so from what I've gathered, guy has some sort of business and they weren't paying taxes, so the government took all of their stuff. But then he finds out that he actually purchased a town, I think, and I don't recall the name of the town. Is it Schitt's Creek? Is that the name of the town?
I would think so.
But he apparently owns this town that he bought as a joke for his son or something like that. And then they like have to go stay there because like literally all of their assets were taken. And that was as far as I got. Just like there's just something there, the humor style, like just really that whole style kind of annoys the crap out of me. And I just sat there like, if I could roll my eyes any harder, they would have like fallen down into my stomach.
Damn, Schitt's Creek's got a big bunch of downvotes so far.
Well, I mean, have you heard anyone else say that aside from me? Because everyone that's told me about it, they're like, "It's a great show. You guys will love it. You should watch it."
No, yeah, I think that's the play.
I don't know. Maybe I'll try to tough out a handful more episodes because they're short. I think they're only like
Yeah.
22 minutes or something like that. So it's not terrible, but yeah, man. So you got Community, you've got the David Letterman show, you've got the
Mm-hmm.
Hitler show,
Mm-hmm.
you got Bly Manor.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 4.
Yes, sir.
Any more?
Yep. I have the
Yep.
I have the one that I watched with my son. So
Oh, okay.
we're watching The Legend of Korra, which is the second series in the Avatar universe.
Okay.
Avatar:
Starting
The
off
Last
with some
Air.
anime.
Yeah, the Last Airbender, not the blue people.
Watch your mouth.
Cameron,
James
David,
Cameron.
James
James.
Cameron. Yeah. Not that Avatar. But
That was a
yeah,
good Avatar, though.
yeah, it was. I liked Giovanni Ribisi is probably my favorite character in that movie. Next to I like the bad guys in that movie. There's just something about showing up on a planet and just wanting to strip mine the shit out of it that's just kind of appealing, but also terrible. I can see myself on
Hey,
both ends of that.
welcome to America.
Yeah. Be like, this is my land. Nah, you can keep the land. We just want what's underneath it. In which case we have to remove the land.
Yeah. Nice. At least you get to watch like somewhat cool stuff with your kids. Kid, I should say.
Yeah, I mean we watched Avatar, The Last Airbender. We finished that
Well,
together, so
I shouldn't really complain too much. I have two daughters, and while they do have their fair share of like Barbie Dream House and stuff like that, um, my youngest, for some reason, is like really into ninjas and stuff. So like, there's a show on Netflix called Hello Ninja that's pretty funny. That her and the other one they watch all the time. They like run around and pretend like they're the two ninjas from the show, and it's really funny.
That's
And
funny.
then there's PJ Masks, which is like a ninja-y, superhero-y show. And again, the youngest is running around, screaming that she's Catboy, and like she's like super cat speed and like running around all
That's
over the
funny.
house. It's so funny. And then the oldest one is kind of into DC superhero girls. So it's still a girly show, but it's also DC superheroes. So I watch it with her because it's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So
A little bit of
every once in
variety
a
there.
while, every once in a while, I'm able to escape the Barbie Dream House and the Sophia the First, shows. But yeah, I don't know, man. Anything else? Is that it? Does that wrap up your list of what you're currently watching?
Uh, yeah, yeah. That's the bulk of it.
Nice.
It's not too shabby.
It's a
My
pretty sizable list.
my watch list is way bigger. It's never gonna stuff leaves Netflix before I get to watch it. Maybe I'll squeeze in Fargo.
That's on Hulu.
Then
You
what is
should.
this? I'm looking right at what is this Fargo?
That's
Oh,
probably
this
the
is the
movie,
movie. Yeah.
which you should watch. I need to watch the movie. I've heard it's great.
Do you know which you should watch first?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
The show's great though. Um, I'm also watching Blind Manor right there with you.
Where are you at in that?
What number? I think we just watched 5. It was the episode that focused on, I believe her name is Heather, the housekeeper. I think her name is Heather.
Um,
Um,
I just call her what she was in Hill House.
I don't think this character was in Hill House.
Uh,
I'm gonna look up what her name is. See if it rings a bell.
but yeah,
Um,
it's definitely not the first season, which it's definitely going for something different. I definitely will have to see the all the way to the end to make a final judgment on it.
it's Mrs. Gross.
Oh yes.
Her like this. I don't want to like spoil anything because it's a relatively new
Bum, bum,
release,
bum.
but her episode was pretty out there, and I
Yeah,
really enjoyed it.
yeah.
um,
I'm not too far ahead of you then.
yeah, I season 1 and 2 are definitely very different. I don't think, at least at this point, 2 is as scary as 1. But I think the story is just as interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely like a backwards puzzle.
Yeah. But I gotta say, like, ever since the first episode when um
Yeah.
Danny
Yeah.
is that Nell's name in season 2? Danny?
Yeah, that's no.
When the ghost flashes in the taxi window, like in the first handful of minutes of the episode,
Did.
like literally all I could picture from that moment on is Elijah Wood's character from Sin City, and it totally removed any scare like factor out of
Oh
that
man.
whole thing. So like it's just like the illuminated glasses
Yeah.
like that. I was just like, dude, am I watching Sin City? Like now I just it took me right out of it.
Yeah, that kind of sucks because that was a really good character.
Yeah. It and like
Or scare character, you know.
yeah, and it happens pretty frequently, but like literally I just chuckle every time because I don't know if any of you have seen Sin City. I don't think that was like the biggest of movies back when it released, but it was a really great movie. And if you haven't seen it, you should. Um
I would call it a cult classic.
yeah, for sure, definitely. The sequel didn't quite live up to the first, but it was okay. But yeah, Elijah Wood's character in that movie is just off the wall. So like that's all I could think about. I just chuckle every single time. But I will say, the kids, ugh, they're just so weird.
Yeah, and you, I think you're not too far from figuring out why they're so bizarre.
Yeah.
Um,
The way Miles talks and interacts with everyone, like, is hilarious. Like,
I there I do like those these kid characters because they're not just creepy all the time. They're like unpredictable, so you never know what they're going to do, and that's um I
yeah.
like that. Whereas that they're not just stuck with like one demeanor that's just like creepy because that gets boring and predictable.
Yeah. And like, I don't know, just their little accents and like they just act like so grown up and it's kind of adorable.
Everything's perfectly splendid.
Yeah, dude. Oh man. But I'll tell you what, the character that has stolen the show for me so far is Owen, the
The
cook.
chef, yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah,
dude, he's like the best. I love that guy.
yeah. He's got
That
a cool character,
that mustache, bro.
dude. Can you do it?
That's like thick with like 4 C's. Like his mustache is like bigger than any beard I could ever grow.
Yeah, it's coarse too. It's like horsehair or whatever. It's not the same type of hair I have on my mustache at all.
Like it's so big, like I didn't realize that there's that much space between his lip and his nose. Like
It's just tall,
yeah, man, like
stacked.
I kind of want to see him without it just so I could see like how weird his face looks. Like there's like a 6-inch gap between his nose and his lip. Oh geez, that thing, it's impressive.
Yeah,
Burt Reynolds would
Burt
he
Reynolds.
would just be like tip his cap
Tip
or
his cap. He'd shave his
fluff his
stash.
mustache or whatever.
Yeah.
Bet you Owen would probably be like a good firefighter or policeman.
Right? Yeah. He's a chef. So maybe chef's from he's from Paris,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
I don't
so
know. Never been, so I couldn't tell you.
you don't have to have gone to Paris to know where Owen is from.
No. But I couldn't tell you what chefs from Paris if they all
Oh,
have
I see what you're saying.
gigantic mustaches.
Oh yeah, they all do. Every single one of them. And they're all
whenever
dudes too.
when-
No, I'm
whenever I
kidding.
like whenever I think of like French mustaches, which this sounds super weird. I just always
How
think of
often do
like
you
the
think
like
about
I
French
know, right?
mustaches?
I guess more than you. I don't. But like I envision like the thin like curly,
Uh-huh.
and then you got Owen just like
He's
bam.
breaking the stereotype.
That's right.
He subverted your expectations.
He's doing the Lord's work,
Yeah.
spreading the gospel of the mustache.
Sam Elliott would be proud.
Yes. Wow. Well, we should change our name to Mustache Boys.
Oh, the Stash
And we talk.
Boys.
Yeah, we just talk all the mustaches in film.
Film and TV. Maybe that's a separate like
A little spin-off.
little series that we do.
There you go. Yeah. The best facial hair in film and TV.
This week we talk about the top 5 mustaches in westerns.
Oh man,
The top 3 mustaches in cult classics.
that'd be great. Ah, geez. So yeah, so I've been watching. I know that you asked what I was watching, so I'll tell you.
Yeah. So that's 1, right? Did you give me a number?
Yeah.
You're watching
No.
like
Okay.
20.
So
You're watching 1 at a
that's
time.
that's what. Yeah, that's what I'm watching with Becca. So it's kind of a slow burn.
Hurry up, Becca.
Um, and on my own time, I'm finishing up season 2 of the Terror. You still have to finish season 1, right?
I need to I think I will do that when the next season of Handmaid's Tale comes out. I'll get on a little Hulu kick there.
Oh yeah,
That's usually when I do the Hulu stuff is when Handmaid's Tale is out.
right, because you would cancel it, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Save a little bit of coin
Yeah, that $5.
in the summer months. Yeah, bro.
Times are tough.
Times are tough.
But yeah, so I think I have two or three episodes left. I think they're 10 episode seasons. But I feel like we say this a lot about shows, at least recently. Season 2, not quite as good as season 1.
Shit always happens.
Actually, in this show,
Season 1's really good.
Yeah, I think in this show it's like substantially worse. But I started it, so like I have to finish it, type thing.
You ever watch a show, it's really, or a movie, and it's really good, and in particular there's like an actor in there that's really good, and then you go find all the other stuff they've done because you like them that much and kind of do a little kick on that actor?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay, that's how I started watching The Terror, just because I had the same guy that was in Chernobyl on HBO.
Oh, was it the one
like,
captain that ends up
yep,
being like the Eskimo guy?
yeah.
Spoiler alert. Sorry. Yeah, that guy's great. What's his name? Colin in the show, I think. Oh, I don't know why I'm
forget.
asking you because you haven't watched it in a really long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think his name is Colin. Yeah, that season 1 of The Terror was really cool, and like once I started it, I couldn't stop. So I burned through that pretty quickly. Season 2, it's still like kind of a period piece. It takes place actually during World War II, and follows a Japanese family / community out in California. And it was right around the time Pearl Harbor happened. So actually
Yeah,
the
World War
majority of
II.
the majority of the show is in internment camps, or I believe that's what they're called. So it's really interesting, and it's like actually like a paranormal type show, unlike the first season, which was a little more like a mixture of a bunch of different things that kind of made it a little scary / creepy. But I guess it's kind of cool because it, excuse me, the story is like follows like a Japanese myth, or spooky, ghostly character
Right.
thing. It's been interesting, but not nearly as strong as the first season, which kind of makes me a little sad. But
Yeah,
I just have this thing where when I start something, even if it's like a movie and it's bad, unless it's like, I mean, I sat through that entire movie, The Happening, and that movie, probably the worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life. But I started it, so I had to finish it. The Terror season 2 is nothing like The Happening, but I just, when I start stuff, I have to finish it. So it's gotten progressively better as the season has gone on, but yeah,
that's
I don't
good.
know.
I mean, and maybe we've said this before, but is that just like what anthologies do though? Is the first season's always good, and then the second season, because that happened with, I mean, that might happen with the Haunting of Bly Manor. You're saying it happened with the Terror, the one you're watching now, or that show. It happened with True Detective for sure,
Yeah.
because season one of the True Detective is like the greatest season of anything I've ever watched.
Yeah, that
Period.
was pretty great. What happened in season 2 of that show?
Season two, it's got what's his freaking face in it, and
Is that the
Amy
one?
Adams, Vince Vaughn, and
Oh, yeah, and Colin Farrell.
yep, Vince Vaughn,
Okay.
Colin Farrell, and Amy Adams. I believe
Yeah,
it's
watched a couple episodes. Not that great.
yeah, no, not at all. I mean, that was one of those things where I just had to finish it just because fuck it.
Hmm.
Um, and the way it ended, I could tell they were trying to like pull it all together and be like, "Ooh, this is what we're going for," and it just did not work at all.
Oh no.
Um, for them to like save that season, at least to live up to the first one, I mean, they would have had done something ridiculous. But yeah, I don't know. Is there an
Uh,
anthology that proves that model different?
so I think Fargo every season has been pretty strong.
That's good.
Since we were just talking about that, that was fresh in my mind. Season 2 of Fargo is actually really cool, and season 3 would probably be my least favorite season, but it does something pretty neat towards the tail end that earned it a lot of points in my book. Season 4 just came out a couple weeks ago, or maybe a month ago at this point. I don't remember, but pretty recently. And so far, I've only watched one episode of it, just because I had to finish Hill House so we could do our episode on Hill House and all the other things that we talked about in October. So it kind of got pushed to the back burner for now. But that entire series so far has been pretty strong. Um, I know American Horror Story has had its ups and downs throughout all of its seasons. I don't even know how many seasons that's been running, but
Too many.
yeah, it's been on for a long time. The first season of that was really good, and I don't know when it kind of started its downward trend, but I mean it's kind of been up and down throughout the years. Black Mirror, I feel, is pretty strong across the board, but I guess
Isn't every
that's like a
episode though anthology?
yeah, that's true. It's an episodic anthology series, so I guess they don't have like your conventional season. It's just like a group of episodes that are unrelated.
Then throw in
Um,
Miley Cyrus.
yeah. But yeah, I guess those are really the only ones I've watched. So I I'm not really aware of other ones, but I don't know. It could be a thing. It is with the Terror, unfortunately.
Rip. I had a second point from what you were saying earlier before I made the anthology point, and I've
Mm.
since forgot it.
Well, if you remember, just interrupt me.
Okay.
Um,
You watch anything else?
yeah, I finished up season 2 of The Boys, which was pretty great.
Oh yeah, that's on my list too.
Yeah, you need to push that up because it's really good. 2
It's best.
seasons, so it's not like, you know, going to be a huge undertaking to catch up. But I would suggest, putting that up towards the top of your upcoming watches list for sure. Season 2 was super good. That show is just like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like whatever the craziest thing you can think of that involves like a dark telling of superheroes, like think of the most absolute like insane things that could involve superheroes in a dark story and then multiply it by like 100, and
Yeek.
then like that's the boys. And
The boys.
the boys, um Showboys should do an episode on the boys. Be a
I
lot of boys,
will.
too many boys.
I can. Maybe I'll drop that in with. I'll see if Aaron wants to watch it, and that can replace Haunting of Bly Manor.
Yeah, there you
Or
go.
how long are the episodes?
They're an hour ish.
Okay. Or I will replace it with the Hiller show.
Yeah, I think Becca watched the first season with me, and then she got mad that I watched the second season without her. So
Ha.
Aaron might like it. I mean, it's like it's off the wall. So, um, but yeah, it's season 2 had a lot of interesting story arcs and and some interesting new characters, and was just as funny, if not maybe sometimes funnier than season 1. And the absurdity was like turned up to 11, and I'm sad that it's over.
What genre show? Like, is it a comedy? Is it a drama?
It's like well, it's like a superhero show, but it's funny, so I guess it's kind of a comedy action, um kind of gory. I guess maybe you could say it's a little bit scary, but I mean, not really. But yeah, it's just like an action comedy, I guess.
It's fair.
Yeah, I guess I could look up to see what it's actually described as. But it's interesting though cuz it's a Prime original, but kind of like how Disney Plus is doing with The Mandalorian, they release an episode every week. So, kind of an interesting way to release shows on a streaming service. I haven't really, outside of The Mandalorian, I haven't really seen many services release new original shows like that.
I think Mandalorian, outside of like Game of Thrones, HBO's kind of always worked like that, but they're kind of a bridge between
Right.
cable, satellite, and the new way of doing things.
Okay, so The Boys is described as an action, comedy, crime, and sci-fi show.
Okay.
And the description on IMDb says a group of vigilantes sets out to take down corrupt superheroes who abuse their superpowers. And that's like the worst description of the show, but I guess like that's
All they could
kind of
come up with.
that's yeah. I mean that is the point of the show, but like it's so much more than that. It's great. Uh After we had our, what was it, the top 3 on the big 3 whenever we made our recommendations or whatever,
Yeah.
Cody started The Boys like shortly after we recorded that episode, and he was texting me about it a couple weeks ago, and he's like, dude, the show,
Did you
thank you
finish
for
it?
recommending it, like it's great. So I don't know why you're sleeping on it.
It just happens. Well, I think part of it is I'm looking through just like Netflix right now, and my Netflix like profile is just too good because they have a section called period pieces. Fuck me. Um, heavens forbid I start
Nice.
browsing through that. The first one's The Last Kingdom, by the way. And then they have ensemble TV comedies. So, Trailer Park
Community.
Boys, Shameless, Arrested Development. So,
Nice.
I'll try not to look at that stuff and look at my watch list.
Jeez, man. It's pretty funny that you
I'll
have a
watch it.
period piece thing.
Yeah, they just know I like period pieces.
Dude, okay, because of my children and Becca, like my Netflix, whatever,
Yeah.
all those lists are they're so garbage. Plus, let me just do a quick rant about the different like categories of the Netflix lists or whatever that they populate for you.
Hey, mine's good. Aaron's is way different than mine, by the way. But we're very good about keeping them segregated. Because we'll be like, we'll go to watch something. I'll be like, we'll watch that on yours.
Nice, dude. I should have done that, but we're too far in at this point. But like, you go through and there's like action comedy, drama, blah. You know how they have like the different category names? Well, like I'll scroll through the categories and like 75% of each category is the same stuff. Like it's the
So they're
same
like
movies listed
overlapping.
in like all the different categories that they populate for. At least my Netflix. I don't know if it's like that for anyone else. But I'm like, why are there even different categories? Like you have the same movies listed in like 6 of the 10 categories that you're populating for me.
Dude, that's either because your algorithm is either weak or very messed up.
It's probably super messed up because
mine. I mean, Erin has made note before when she's like on mine, and she's like, "Yours is so good. Like mine is legit. Like that's how I get stuck with just like putting stuff on my list."
Sounds like I need to start using yours.
Yeah, because I mean, I got a war TV shows one.
What?
I have a critically acclaimed films, so like Fargo, Glory, There Will Be Blood.
Dude, what the heck? Can I have your password?
I have critically acclaimed TV shows: Stranger Things, The Umbrella Academy, Sherlock, whatever, then comedies.
Yeah.
Like it's nonstop on mine, and there's no repeats.
No, that's not mine at all.
Oh, okay. See, maybe that's why you are like on
because
Hulu all the time, because your Netflix sucks.
That's true. Well, I go through phases. Like,
Yeah.
But I mean, okay, so the
Delete your
types of
profile and
stuff.
start over.
I know. But like the types of stuff that I like, it's generally more on the dark or more serious or bleak side of things.
Right.
But like Becca is 100% the opposite, and she watches a lot of like home reality TV stuff, like your fixer uppers and flippin' floppers and flea marketing and whatever other terrible HGTV type show. So like you have all of that, and then you have before they had kids profiles, like our daughters were watching their shows and movies, so it's like Rainbow Pony Surprise, Barbie Dreamhouse, Black Mirror, Fixer Upper, Stranger Things, Ozark. It's just like my Netflix has some serious identity issues.
I mean, two observations based on those descriptions might explain like the fundamental problem. And it's like the things you watch, let's just say they have culture to them. You know what I mean? Like you can categorize the things you watch and kind of find a path to other things. Whereas if you're watching Fixer Upper, it doesn't have a lot of different things it's going to suggest to you besides all the different, there's not a lot of variety there. Like you're not going to somehow find yourself watching Fixer Upper, then it's going to be like, hey, you should watch this show about Hitler. Because it has similar themes to this movie you just watched. Or or the cartoon stuff. It's like, hey, I'm just gonna recommend this other cartoon to you or this other like kids show.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think
Yeah.
that's probably where yours is just like run aground and it's just a
Yeah.
beached whale.
It's doomed.
Delete it. And I mean, you probably don't. But I do this. I do the thumbs up, thumbs down thing.
Oh no, I don't do that. I probably should.
Yeah. I mean, if you delete your profile, make a new one, or just make a new one. Start doing that, and it will get really good.
How many profiles can you make? Because
I don't know.
Honestly, I didn't even know you could make different ones.
Yeah, I mean, we have like 3 for like the 3 different people that use this. Like Erin has one, her brother has one, I have one.
Interesting. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, so like mine and hers are way different.
Yeah. It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, so I mean, I would recommend that because I even do things where, and I said this when we talked about it last month, American Murder. I thumbs down that. While I liked it, I thumbs downed it because I don't want that shit in my algorithm.
Good point. See what you're doing.
Yeah.
Speaking of algorithm, we started and got about halfway through Social Dilemma before Becca fell asleep because she's an old soul, and it was like 9:25 and she was like passed out on the couch. That was pretty good, so we'll probably finish that up.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, definitely finish that. I think everyone should watch it. Period.
Yeah. And then that brings me to the final thing I'm currently watching. And it's the most important thing.
Okay, this is good.
Probably the best thing. So,
YouTube.
Our episode last week, you'll have heard us talk about the fascinating trend of ARGs. And I know that we're done with our spooky Halloween October content. But I guess this one's not really that spooky. But it is an ARG, and we made a glancing pass about this one in our episode last week. But the web series called Dad is the greatest thing on YouTube. You must watch it.
I've seen you linking this to Cody, and I watched. Is it the same as the music video with Donald Glover? Danny Brown.
Yes.
So I saw you link the ones where someone put them all together, so you don't have to watch them out of order. I guess is that the benefit of watching those ones?
All right, so Dad is, so it has some elements of ARGs that we talked about. There's like hidden messages and puzzles and stuff. And he interacts with his like following and community and like breaks the fourth wall, I guess, and kind of like knows that he's a YouTube channel and like has subscribers and all this stuff. And will like interact with people in the comments and stuff, make videos about, like, for example, a bunch of the like more horror referenced or horror minded channels that I follow, like Nexpo. Hey, by the way, Nexpo, buddy, this is like the 3rd or 4th time I've dropped your name. Please notice
love
me. But he did a video like breaking down the Dad channel last year, and Dad like made a response video to like 4 or 5 of the YouTubers that were like breaking down his channel and the story so far, and like I don't know, just like it does cool things like that, which is kind of like very ARG like. But I would almost describe it more as just like a web series because it has like a pre-planned story that is being told. And to answer your question, the videos range anywhere from like 1 to 3 minutes long, and then like occasionally every so often there will be like a 5-minute or 10-minute video. But now that we're into Act 3, I think, of the story, Act 1 and Act 2, which have been completed, have like a nice video where it's all of the videos from that act compiled into one long videos that plays in order of the release. So makes it easy to catch up on and stuff. But dude, it's so good and it's funny.
All
I
right.
mean,
I'll
who
have to try.
who doesn't want to watch dad be best YouTuber?
Is he the best YouTuber?
Yeah, bro. And
All
he
right.
like makes some fire music. Didn't you listen to that Danny Brown song?
Yeah, if Danny Brown's gonna
I mean,
jump on it, he's got big cred right there. I
yeah,
mean,
I mean, Danny Brown's, dropping a little feature spot on a dad track, bro.
we'll have to include the link to that video.
Yes, I will include that. We'll include the dad YouTube channel. Um, I may or may not have purchased a dad hoodie last night.
Oh dear. I will export my Netflix algorithm for people to import into theirs.
There you go. That's the one, the super important thing that if we could do, that would be amazing. I would pay for that.
Nice.
Maybe
Well,
only like $5, but yeah, man. The cool thing about dad is like all he puts out. So like they put out the main story, which is laid out in Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. I don't know how long the story will go on for, but like we were just talking about, he makes music videos and stuff, and all the songs that he makes are all like it's still the dad character in that dad world. So all of his songs are about stuff that's happening in the story, right? And like he has handfuls of other types of videos on the YouTube channel, but they're all a part of this overarching story. So it's kind of cool. But it's super interesting and has some dope synthwave like soundtrack. So yeah, bro, check it out. I mean,
okay.
it's a little odd at first. Entire Act 1 video is like 17 minutes long, so it's not like that big of a waste of time. But the main story, like after you get past the the oddness of it, which I actually really like the oddness of it, like the underlying story that slowly starts to unfold is actually really, really cool. And I think you'll like it.
And the Danny Brown video is part of that.
It is. And I don't want to spoil anything, but
All right. Don't do it.
maybe he's not only in a music video.
All right. All right. I'll have to watch it. I'll watch it. I'll do it.
Nice. Uh, if you want, you can buy a matching hoodie too.
Depends on how cool the hoodie is. I haven't bought a hoodie in a long time.
Oh man, Dad, what a guy. But yeah, that pretty much excuse me. That's pretty much what I'm watching right now. But like, I'm coming up, to being close to being done with Bly Manor and season 2 of The Terror. So gonna be, I currently have my feelers out for what to start next, because while I do have a list on, I think all of the streaming platforms that I have, um, I don't know. I don't know if I want to watch anything that's on my list. I might search for something new alongside of, our weekly Mandalorian episodes.
Yeah, I mean that's the nice thing about the Mandalorian is that they're the Mandalorian. I don't know what I just said there. But they're like 25 minutes long. They come out every Friday. It's not a huge time sink. I think it's just very manageable, and I don't really count that as something I'm watching per se, because there isn't a constant feed of it or backlog that I have to like catch up on or just crush through. It's spoon fed to me. Thank you, Disney, for treating me like a child.
Yeah.
I mean, on that topic, I mean, you've seen, and not, not to preface too much for this, but it's coming up. I mean, I think we only have one more episode that we'll record before we jump right into that, right? We have the one of the same week, I do believe.
Are you
Of the,
are you talking about our Mandalorian episodes?
yeah, this episode is what, the week before?
No, this episode will be out on November 2nd. So our first Mandalorian episode will
Oh yeah.
probably be out at the same time you're listening to this. If it's not, it will be within, the next day or two.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
Okay,
yeah,
no,
so
yeah.
I mean,
This is a good
at,
time then.
as of the time that we're recording this episode, in next Friday, the first episode of season 2 of The Mandalorian will be available to watch. So
Yeah, I mean, but like as a little bit of backstory on your position, I mean, you've only ever seen season one of The Mandalorian of any Star Wars, right?
false.
Okay,
I've
okay, I'm wrong.
seen the original trilogy when I was like a youngster, so it's
Mm-hmm.
not like super fresh in my mind. Though I
Okay.
did watch which of the original trilogy was supposed to be before A New Hope, or is that one of the original trilogies? Is A New Hope one of the original trilogy?
A New Hope is the original Star Wars movie, and then it was followed by two more, and that makes up the first trilogy.
Okay, so was Rogue One supposed to happen before A New Hope?
Yeah, so the ending of Rogue One is probably within 5 minutes of the beginning of A New Hope.
Okay, so I watched Rogue One, and then after I watched that, I went back and watched A New Hope,
Okay.
and
Ro-
then
Rogue One's arguably like the best Star Wars movie.
that one had Forrest Whitaker in it randomly, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, that's the one I watched. And then I watched The Mandalorian. That's my Star Wars.
I mean, that's pretty close to that's it because um to just seeing the Mandalorian, because if you've just seen the original trilogy once, um I take it that isn't a lot,
Yeah,
because I couldn't tell you how many I've seen each of the movies. It's
yeah,
kind of it's kind of frightening, because it's like one of those things that could just be on, or it just you can just turn it on and you just see it stuck, and I'm stuck, and I've seen it, before I know it. I've seen them all probably upwards of 100 times.
jeez,
I don't
like
know.
like
I don't even know
total views of anything Star Wars related. Are you talking like you've watched the original trilogy like 100 times?
episode 5, which is the second movie in the original trilogy. I have probably seen like upwards of 100 times alone.
That's insane. You are literally a psycho.
Well, I mean, I would watch that's what I would go to sleep to when I was younger. Like that was the movie that would just be on, and I would just go to bed.
Mm. So it's just drilled into your subconscious.
Correct.
Oh
Exactly. And like I would kind of remember where I left off, and I would just pick up and then continue.
yeah. Nice.
So, I think that'll be a good perspective from someone that's just completely inundated in that world, and then yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, I know your basic Star Wars stuff. Like, I know the major characters and all that stuff. But yeah, like when it gets down to the intricacies of the universe and all of the minor plot details and Easter eggs and stuff like that, just goes right over my head. So
Yeah. And I mean, I would suggest starting the like making of The Mandalorian on Disney Plus, just because there's some really cool episodes in there. of like how they made it, the music score, stuff like that I think you would find really interesting just from like a production standpoint, because I know you're in that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that
Um,
sounds pretty cool.
it's Disney Gallery, and it's just Star Wars: The Mandalorian. It's
Hmm.
the only episodes they have in there, but I think they're gonna do like other things they make in their gallery, if you will. But I would give that a watch because there's just it definitely made me appreciate the show more, knowing how like John Favreau, um, and
Fabs.
yeah, how all his past experience doing all the other stuff he's done.
Right. Yeah, no,
Um,
I really appreciate all those, the behind the scenes look. It really does, generally for the most part, give me a lot more appreciation for the product that is put out to us. So I would really enjoy that. But yeah, man. Aside from The Mandalorian, which is going to obviously be on my watch list, there are two other shows that within the last couple days have kind of popped up on my radar. Yeah, Unsolved Mysteries season 2 just came out, I believe, last Friday, or within the last week or so. And I don't know if you watched the first season of the Unsolved Mysteries reboot, but it was pretty interesting. So I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of weird stories there are in season 2. That's
yeah,
on Netflix.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. They have a really, really cool like remix of the old theme song as like the new theme song for the reboot. It's pretty sweet.
Remix.
Yeah, bro. So like that's on the radar, but that's a show that I'll watch with Becca because like as we discussed in the American Murder episode, she's a big old fan of the true crime. So she watched season 1 with me and enjoyed it. So I probably won't be able to get away with watching that one by myself. But I did share this with you and Cody. I stumbled on another anthology type show called Two Sentence Horror Stories, which um, is on Netflix apparently, but it's an episodic anthology though, so kind of like Black Mirror, of just horror stories. So I kind of want to check that out.
Hmm, that sounds cool.
Yeah, I don't know where the two sentence like comes into play, but I
Yeah,
guess I'll find out.
it's no good unless there's literally only two sentences in each episode.
Yeah. But I was looking at like some of the episode times on Netflix. 'Cause I saw two sentence horror stories, so I'm like, okay, are these going to be like shorts, like 5-10 minutes? Nope, they're like 45-minute long episodes. So
Damn.
I really don't understand where the two sentence comes in, but
Gotta dive right in.
I'll let you know.
All right.
You got anything on your besides the boys, which should be the most important thing, and then dad right under that?
Well, you recommended that new anime on Netflix that's coming up, The Son of Zeus.
Oh
That looks
yeah.
rad. I'm probably gonna like just squeeze that in there somehow.
Yeah,
Um,
so I don't watch anime, but I kind of want to watch that.
yeah, I think I would say like watch that, and Cartoon Network had a new one last year with man, what is his name? Oh, Michael B. Jordan. He voiced the main character in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's just about like mechs in America and like these like this like kind of like a Russia with like nanotechnology corporation type thing, just like
Hmm.
attacks. It was pretty cool. It's pretty well done. The animation style. I really, if the animation style is like a particular way, I can really get into an anime, and that's usually the main draw is, first off, like, is the animation style edgy, if you will.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Cartoon Network has some pretty cool shows on it. Like
Oh yeah.
to bring this full circle, Cartoon Network and back to Elijah Wood. um, he was in a really cool animated show called Over the Garden Wall, which came out a handful of years ago. You can find it on Hulu, I believe. But that show was super interesting, and it was also on Cartoon Network. It was really weird, but
Well, that's
really cool.
like I was saying to you offline, is I feel like Elijah Wood does really weird stuff that's probably pretty good, and I want to go dig through his catalog of just like stuff he's done.
Yeah, dude. Did you ever, not to talk about Sin City again, but did you ever watch that movie?
It's been like such a long time. I think I watched it when it first came out, and
Okay.
it was something I didn't fully take in, if you will.
Yeah.
So I think I would do better rewatching it for sure.
I mean, he wasn't like a main character or anything in that show, but
Right.
or that movie. But yeah, man,
Is
he's
it on Netflix? It's not. I think it was, and it was in my watch list.
yeah, Elijah Wood's been in quite a few interesting things, and like you're saying, it would be pretty cool to really kind of dive in some of his uh, lesser known, works. Some of the
Right.
more weird and abstract and absurd stuff. So if you find anything, yeah,
Well, I feel like I've always seen these things advertised, so I think I know what I'm looking for. I just need to go back and or I just need to go to like his discography and scroll through that because I know what I'm looking for because I've seen it. Usually, I think the one you were talking about was advertised on like Adult Swim,
hmm
and I feel like he was in some sort of comedy drama series.
yeah, on FX. It was
FX,
called like
yeah,
Wilfred or something.
yeah, exactly
Yeah,
that. Um, I just feel like they're always just like mid-tier radar, and they're never. And I think they just never click to where people are just like widespread, like, oh, you gotta watch it. I feel like
yeah,
you just have to make the effort to go watch it and then say it's good because it's probably good. I like this. I think it is.
yeah. I love stumbling on those types of movies or shows. Oftentimes, I enjoy them a lot more than your more mainstream and popular, uh, things.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you have anything else besides the Blood of Zeus? Is that what that anime was called? Sorry, the hiccups.
It's either Son of Zeus or yeah, it's either Son or the Blood of. I don't have. I mean, I have a ridiculous watch list, but there's nothing kind of up and pressing. I really kind of need to just kind of cycle through, the main things I'm watching, working like The Mandalorian, a couple other things here or there, but I will be looking for some main series. But like you said, that's probably The Boys. I need to watch that.
That needs to climb up your radar. Um, I did text you about this earlier, but I also stumbled on a pretty cool trailer for a movie called Synchronic, and it looks like real trippy and real like psychological thriller type. Gives off some serious like Christopher Nolan, Interstellar / Tenet vibes to it.
It came out in
Um,
2019, but it's still in theaters.
Synchronic. No, I thought
Yes.
it.
Oh no, yeah.
No, it
Well,
comes out tomorrow, I believe.
they have 2019 next to this one, but the release date was. Oh, maybe it was supposed to come out in 2019, and it comes out tomorrow.
Oh yeah, you're right. It does say 2019, huh?
That's goofy. That'll probably be a weird anomaly with.
Yeah,
Oh
in
wait,
theaters October 23rd,
it had
2020.
its world premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival in
Mm,
2019.
okay. Yeah, we got Anthony Mackie, Falcon. If you've ever seen a Marvel movie,
No, I never have. What are those?
no? Uh, wow, unbelievable. But yeah, it looks real mind trippy. And I haven't been to the movie theater in so long. So
Oh,
I might make a trip out, hopefully, and see that movie. I don't know. Maybe we could talk about it too. Maybe have like a little movie review episode. We've never done one of those.
hype it up. Tell everybody to go to the movie theater.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I miss going to the movies so much.
Yeah, that was a pretty regular thing for you too.
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, it's just like getting to experience the film as it was intended, and created for,
Well, let's see here. I found it. So AMC is offering you can rent out a whole theater for $99.
Yeah. And you can also like bring your own movie.
Oh, I did
So
not know
like,
that.
yeah, you can rent it out and watch what's there. But I think I also saw that you could rent it out and be like, yo, I got this Blu-ray. Like, can you throw that up there?
Dude, that might be worth it to go
That would,
watch. I would.
that would be
I
so cool.
I've seen Rogue One twice in theaters. I might do that again with that.
Because I
No.
mean, $99, if you're talking like a normal night out at the movies, like that's 5 people.
Yeah, you get
You get
five,
five
six
people to
people.
pitch in. You have a whole theater to yourself, and you can watch like whatever movie you want. I'm sure there's restrictions, obviously. Man, go in there and watch Scott Pilgrim again. That was such a fun movie in theaters.
You know that's actually on my watch list. I need to
Scott
watch that.
Pilgrim? You've never seen
Yeah.
Scott Pilgrim?
Uh-uh.
Oh man, let me watch it with you. I love that movie so much.
Well, let's rent out a theater.
All right, let's get like 10 other people so I don't have to pay like $50 to watch Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, here it is. It's in my watch list.
Yeah, dude. I've probably seen that like 30 times.
See, that's your Star Wars.
It really is. Like between that movie and Superbad, like at one point I could probably recite the entire script of both movies to you just because I've seen them so many times. Oh,
Because
jeez.
you're just a giant Michael Cera fan.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, I was.
I mean, he's pretty good.
He is, especially when he plays like those. Well, his character in Scott Pilgrim is like the inverse of his normal dopey character. He's still like dopey, but he's like confidently dopey instead of like super introverted and awkward dopey. But yeah, he is like perfect for that type of character.
He,
Uh,
there's just Scott Pilgrim and Arrested Development when you pull up his name on Netflix.
oh, really?
Yeah. Well,
Juno?
there's a few other things, but
It's like
Wet
Juno's
Hot.
not on there.
Yeah, I think there used to be a lot more stuff, but it's definitely gone. I need to watch Arrested Development too.
Let's see what's
It
some of my favorite Michael Cera movies. So
never freaking
obviously,
ends.
Scott Pilgrim is number one by and far. Superbad will be number two. Juno was okay. Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist was okay. He was Robin in the Lego Batman movie.
Seriously?
Yeah. Arrested Development, obviously. Um,
tons of other things.
He was like a very small, like cameo character in Molly's Game, which that movie was really good.
That
Look
came
it
up.
Molly's Game was interesting for sure. Lemon, never seen it. Oh, he's in Sausage Party. That was okay. Yeah, interesting. I mean, it basically plays the same character in every single role. So, Youth in Revolt, that was an okay movie.
I get him confused with Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah, I could see it.
So I was just thinking of The Social Network, and that's not him.
Yeah, in Zombie Land.
Right.
Yeah, but I also like, because movie theaters have been closed. Oh, or I mean, they've been open for, a month or so at this point, maybe longer, but just like being able to get a babysitter, and the fact that there's like not really new movies other than like Tenet that came out recently.
Right.
I generally will not watch movies at home unless they're like comedies or a movie that you don't really need the theater experience to get like the full experience of the movie. So like your action movies or movies that have like tons of CGI or like cool sound stuff, like a Scott Pilgrim, which is, he's in a band and his band plays a lot in the movie. So like a lot of music, so you get the surround sound and the nice, system and stuff pumping out the sound into your ears. Like I just won't watch a movie at home. So because of that, all I've watched recently are like shows. So like I miss movies.
Yeah, maybe they'll come back someday.
Hopefully. Did see a picture of boy Tom Holland on the set of the Uncharted movie though. So
Yeah.
old
Who's making
old
that?
Nathan Drake. It's a good question. Probably Sony, I would assume.
Oh, that's convenient because of the Spider-Man IP. Do they just own him?
I don't know.
They're like, hey, you're already on the payroll. You're just gonna be Nathan Drake.
Yeah. I mean, other than the fact that Tom Holland looks like he's like 14 and Nathan Drake is not like that young, like personality wise, I think he very much resembles a Nathan Drake type character.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, so I don't know, man. I'm excited because the Uncharted story, like the Uncharted games were phenomenal. And I always thought that like Indiana Jones, Tomb Raider type story would make a cool movie. But we all know how video game movies turn out for the most part. So I'm like cautiously optimistic. But I like the choice of Tom Holland. A lot of people kind of would have preferred someone like Nathan Fillion, or I
Yeah,
would
that's the
even
guy.
honestly like the voice actor that plays Nathan Drake in the shows or the
Mm-hmm.
games, Nolan North. Like just let him be. Like he's been Drake the whole time in the games. Like just let him, instead of motion capture acting and voice acting, just let him like regular act and be Nathan Drake.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll have that.
Because I mean, have you seen a picture of Nolan North? Like he looks like Nathan Drake,
Yeah,
just
actually,
like a slightly older version. He's the
I
other guy in that picture that I sent you of Tom Holland. Like that guy standing next to him was Nolan North.
gotcha. Yeah, I googled Nathan Drake, just like actor, and you go to images, and it's just a bunch of side by sides with the video game guy and all the other actors that people have thought should play him. So Tom Holland's in there. The one dude from Supernatural, the one brother.
Oh yeah.
Looks like somebody threw in.
Gerard Butler.
Yeah, Gerard Butler.
I mean, I can kind of see it.
Yeah, he would be a good kind of like older Nathan Drake. Tom Holland definitely makes a good younger one just because he looks like he's 14.
Yeah,
I think that's the only problem with him is Nathan Drake is very much like a 30-year-old or whatever.
Yeah, there's like Chris Pratt,
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper. But honestly, like, just let Nolan North do it.
Nathan Fillion, yeah. I feel
Well,
like
like
he did a promo even.
he did. There was like a fan made Uncharted movie that starred Nathan Fillion, and it was really cool. It's like 15 minutes, I want to say, 15 minutes long on YouTube. Which
Yep.
we will provide a link for that because that's a good link for you guys to check out.
Oldie but a goodie. But yeah, I mean that's about all I got. I could go on forever though. Probably go watch something that's on my list.
Yeah, man. Okay, so you ready to wrap this up then?
I think so.
All right. Well, hopefully, if you haven't seen any of the things that we talked about tonight, hopefully we're able to give you some ideas, maybe some shows and movies to add to your watch lists, ever expanding if they're anything like ours, always expanding and never shrinking watch list.
Hopefully you've added more things to them.
Yes. And I mean, hey, like we were saying in the beginning, if you have any recommendations, leave a comment on the Facebook page. We're always looking for new stuff. Doesn't matter what it is, unless it's like Fixer Upper. I don't want that crap.
Already seen it.
I already seen it. I live it.
Already seen it.
It's my
Well,
daily life.
on the way out here, just take a look at a general chat, and then we'll say goodbye to Craig.
All right. Oh wow. Nice.
I have no idea. None at all.
Same. But for some reason, that makes me think one last thing that I started watching. The Cabin with Bert Kreischer.
Oh, that's fitting.
Oh, we've seen 2 episodes of it. It's pretty funny. Like I think that's a good casual whenever you can't think of anything else to watch, just throw that on and you'll have a good laugh.
Okay. Well, I'll find the link to the original Twitter post on that, and we can include that too.
Okay.
Oh,
Have
God.
you watched any of The Cabin?
No, it's on my watch list.
The first episode's hilarious. Tom Segura and Joey Diaz.
Oh, of course it is. They would be on the first episode.
It is like a train wreck. So funny.
Jeez.
We watched it. Becca and I and our friend Eve had it on the other night, and Becca knows who Tom Segura is, and she knows who Bert Kreischer is. Eve has like a vague recollection of who Bert Kreischer is. Neither of them have ever heard of Joey Diaz, and he was very Joey Diaz. They're like, what is this guy saying?
Yeah, that guy. If you don't know who
Oh,
he is,
gosh.
going and he just shows up in something.
Yeah.
Good luck.
It was amazing. But anyways, back from that, rabbit trail. If you have any show or movie recommendations that you guys think we might find interesting, just let us know in the comments. Again, thank you for listening. Thank you for following us. If you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook at Showboys Podcast. Yeah, thank you. Like, rate, comment on our episodes on Spotify and Apple, Google Podcasts. You can listen to our past episodes on Anchor or our YouTube page. And I don't know. That's all I got. You got anything, Nick?
I got nothing.
All right. Cue the music.
All right.
Say goodbye
Later,
to our
Craig.
dearest friend. Thank you, Craig, for all that you do.
All his hard work. Such a hard worker.
Great. We couldn't do this show without you.
Definitely couldn't.
Goodbye.
Thank you, Craig.
Goodbye.
Bye.